Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu sana. Earlier today, President Uhuru Kenyatta toured some parts of Nyanza. And from his speeches during the tours, it was very clear he was campaigning for Raila Amolo Odinga. Yes. So in this video right now, I want us to have a look, to have a discussion, to analyze and see in clear terms. Will this tag project affect Raila's popularity? Because for some days now, William Ruto and his team have been branding Raila Amolo Odinga as a government project, with the aim maybe to make sure they finish Raila politically. And also some Raila supporters have also been sending me some messages a little bit concerned of this Uhuru Kenyatta's endorsement. So in this video, I want us to have a discussion to see in clear terms what that project tag means for Raila Amolo Odinga's presidential bid this year. Yes. And before we dig into that analysis, let's just have a short view, or let's have a look at this short clip of the president's speech earlier today in Nyanza. Let's have a look at the president.
Sisi tunataka tuendelee kuwa na amani, tuendelee kuwa na umoja kama Wakenya, na mwaka huu wa siasa tunataka Wakenya wawe kitu kimoja. Wawe kitu kimoja. Sina na hiyo. Sio ndio ilikuwa spirit ya handshake. Wawe kitu kimoja. Na ndio tuelekee safari ile tutaelekea tukiwa Wakenya wakiwa pamoja. Tunakubaliana. Nitakuja hivi karibuni, tukuja na baba na wengine tu.
Yes, from that speech, it's very clear the president is campaigning for Raila Amolo Odinga. Yes, and that may be what Tanga are now saying Raila is a government project. So will that affect Raila's popularity or rather his presidential bid this year? That's our analysis and discussion right now. So if in case you just bumped here, subscribe, give this video a like. Let me start by repeating this. In 2002, Uhuru Kenyatta failed not because he was a project, he failed because of two things. Uhuru Kenyatta failed in 2002 because he was a political greenhorn and he had no clout or other support across the country. He was just a nominated member of parliament who had been defeated previously in a parliamentary seat. So that's one reason Uhuru Kenyatta failed. He had not built a clout for himself amongst Kenyans. He was a nobody in Kenya's politics in terms of political strength. The second thing Uhuru Kenyatta failed in 2002 was because the opposition became wiser and they all teamed up together to produce one strong candidate in the name of Mwai Kibaki. Previously, opposition candidates were split. They were all contesting for the presidency. So Uhuru Kenyatta failed in 2002, not because it was a government project, but because first, he had no political clout and then secondly, opposition became wiser and they teamed up together. That's why they defeated Uhuru Kenyatta. But nonetheless, Uhuru Kenyatta, still being a greenhorn he was, he gave a combination of the opposition candidates a run for their money. Uhuru Kenyatta managed about 1.8 million votes. Kibaki, with all that combination, they had about 3.5 million votes. So you can see clearly that to be a government project is actually a boost for any candidate. And I know as I talk right now that William Ruto has been praying all day, all night to be endorsed by President Uhuru Kenyatta. And if William Ruto was today in the position Raila Amolo Odinga is, actually could be really bragging and boasting about being a government candidate. In fact, William Ruto, some few months back, before they fell out with the president, he had even started boasting that if he can be in government, who can defeat him? So as things stand today, William Ruto was praying very hard to be that project. Is now accusing Raila Amolo Odinga that Raila is being supported by the government. That should be made very clear. So, will Uhuru Kenyatta's endorsement or the government endorsement of Raila affects Raila's presidential bid this year? It will affect Raila in this way. In the previous elections, we have seen clearly that Raila Amolo Odinga has been winning, but his win has always been, that win is always being stolen away from him with what Kenyans have always believed is the system or the deep state. Raila as an individual, as things stand today, he has got his traditional support bases. Whether somebody brands him a project or not, those support bases are still largely intact. Yes. If Kalonzo decides to support Raila today, whether somebody calls Raila a project or not, the Kaba nation largely will still vote for Raila Amolo Odinga. If William Ruto decides to support Raila Amolo Odinga today, a majority of the Kalenjin nation, whether you brand Raila Amolo Odinga project or not, will vote for Raila Amolo Odinga. So this thing of the project, in my considered opinion, does not actually exist. It does not exist actually. In terms of real votes, it does not exist. So by Uhuru Kenyatta supporting Raila Amolo Odinga, I tend to believe it's going to persuade the Raila's supporters or other Kenyans whose mind is already tuned to the fact that unless you are supported by the government or the system, you cannot win. So those kind of supporters, they are now going to be persuaded into thinking that it's now Raila Amolo Odinga to win the presidency. And as they get persuaded, I'm also very sure, ladies and gentlemen, that in Kenya, we have a group of Kenyans. They don't have their preferred candidates. But the side they see as likely going to win, that is the side they board. So in this case, assuming the government supports Raila Amolo Odinga, then it's quite clear that a majority of Kenyans already have that feeling that the side being supported by the government is the side to win. So actually being branded a government project is working in the favor of Raila Amolo Odinga. That is something very clear, ladies and gentlemen. So for these people doubting, oh, this project will affect Raila's popularity, I tend to believe you still don't know the nitty-gritty of politics properly. That word project, even though Tagatanga using it, is actually giving Raila Amolo Odinga mileage. It's giving Raila Amolo Odinga mileage. The only people who think that that thing is denying Raila Amolo Odinga mileage are William Ruto supporters. Maybe the Kalenjin nation, and maybe some few people on the mountain, who I believe as August approaches, will also face where Uhuru Kenyatta is. So in my considered opinion, the TAG project, that term will actually help in making sure it persuades a good majority of Kenyans who maybe were undecided on which side is going to win. It will persuade a majority of them to align themselves with Raila Amolo Odinga. That one comes out very, very clearly. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, the term project again, or rather this tag project again, in my honest opinion, I also believe that William Ruto and his team, by branding Raila Amolo Odinga a project, they are just doing a disservice to themselves. Because the same William Ruto, his foot soldiers have been saying that Uhuru Kenyatta said yake 10 ya Ruto 10. What is that? That's the kind of project they are accusing Raila of. In one way or the other, they are speaking from both sides of the mouth. They are speaking from both sides of the mouth. So in my considered opinion, ladies and gentlemen, Raila being branded a project is actually helping Raila Amolo Odinga in winning the presidency. And from where I sit, as long as things remain constant, whether it's branded a project or not, his chances are very high unless things change. Unless things change. As long as Uhuru is there and that team is there, whether somebody is branded a project or not, it matters. To me, it matters not. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, just as I did indicate when we were starting, if you've just bumped here for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. Yes, give it a like. To any other person who is also a fan of ours here, that's the kind of analysis we do here. We don't beat about the bush. We call it as it is. We hit the nail straight on the head. So if in case you have not yet subscribed, but you love our videos, take this moment right now, tap on the subscription button and also on the notification bell to receive a notification anytime we upload a new video. And to our fans and subscribers here, I'm very much humbled, very grateful for the kind of support you are giving me here. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Tamu sana